everybody's talking about how long you've been there. Well, so far as I'm concerned, we're going to be there until the day we die. And if you're going to buy the property, the love of money is root of all evil, but it won't affect us in the least. Because you can't buy that property. If we have anything to say about it, and I think we do. And on that corner, you need a road over to the side that you can get into it. You need to take maybe 12 foot of that property in front to have your entranceway, but you can't buy it from us.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know that.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Odell. That's the kind of information that we need to know tonight, and we'll take that back.
I've already been told that.
The next person is Peter Florenson.
Yeah, just a quick question.
Yes, let me have it.
Behind you.
Right behind you, there's a microphone.
Thank you.
Directed to the Women's Chapel, people, I looked at some of your websites around the country. Is this supposed to be like a national headquarters for your church at this location, based on the size, and looking at some other locations where the sizes are much less than what you're proposing here? So that's basically my question.
In general, I would just have to say that we're talking about the site, complying with site compliance, and mitigating the impact of the development and
Let the
actual
church
construction.
Let the church answer. Let the church answer.
Listen. We're here trying very hard to get feedback, constructive feedback as much as we can. And I'm going to let them answer, but I would like to just say that this is not, as Senator Riley said at the beginning, and he said it maybe more eloquently than I did, but this is not about who they are or what they're doing. Okay? This is about whether, about the site.
That's why we're here.
Sir, you keep referring to you want to be a good neighbor.
My name is Pastor Kobe, the head pastor of the church here. We have our national headquarters in New York, and that is where we respond to. So we are not the headquarters. This is not our headquarters.
That's what he asked. Thank you. That's all he asked.
Thank you. The next question is Larry Schweinsberg.
Behind you.
Larry, right behind you is the microphone, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
A number of the questions that I had have been, I don't say that they've been answered, they've been put forth. I have a couple questions. A general one first. Given the obvious problems that are involved in this, how in the world was that particular site selected to put a 64,000 square foot, acre and a half building and a parking lot there? The other thing is, this gentleman here said, well, it's not really our concern if it's off the site of the project. I don't live over there, but there's about 25 homes at the end of Cox Road and on Polly Lane. And apparently, with your attitude, you don't care what happens to those people. Yeah, you say you want to be a good neighbor, doesn't sound like it to me. My next question would be, one of the other gentlemen mentioned the fire that was down there a couple of years ago. I would like to know how in the world you think emergency vehicles are going to access a thing like that if, God forbid, a fire broke out in a home during one of these periods of peak use. Right. And I don't care that you don't care what happens off the ground.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say at this point.
Good.
No comment. No comment?
No. No question. It became a traffic question. Very good. Well, one of the big reasons we're here tonight, we do this, who I represent, my clients, they really want to be good neighbors. They want to come in, they want to listen to you. And so far, we've heard some very, very good input, serious input that we're going to take into consideration as we move forward. Now, as far as the neighbors go, we care greatly about those 25 homes along Cox Road. I think the fact is, without taking public water and sewer back, which it looks like really is not going to be really an option, without the public water and sewer, we can't really help add to the water. Now that the church is going to have a lot more water, so it might be that the fire could tap into that, but it's not designed that far yet. And we certainly would like to see if there's any way to improve that if possible. So thank you for your question.
I was on the way to get the fire truck in with 300 cars sitting out there. That was the question.
Oh, well, if it's a traffic question like that, when we design Cox Road at Defense Highway, we'll do it in such a way that cars will be able to come in and out. We're going to widen it from what it is in it right now. It's going to greatly improve.
Those people don't want to sell. They do not want to sell. It's clear.
Okay, I'm talking about the widening of Cox Road. The church controls that whole property. If we look at this here, see this area? The church controls that. They could widen it by 50 feet if they wanted to. But they're going to do on their side, correct? Only on their side. You're exactly right. So that's what we're talking about, widening it onto the church side, and that's going to have 2 outbound lanes and 1 inbound lane. It's going to make ingress and egress much more effective than it is today. That's a great question. When we first went to the State Highway Administration, when the church went, they actually had proposed a separate entrance right where the laser pointer is, a little bit further, basically to the far end of their property. And the state said, no, you can't do that. It's too close to Cox Road. The state said you're going to have to use Cox Road, given the lot the way that it is right now. So that was actually looked at, but it wasn't an option. That was before the traffic.
Just so you know, I'm the one that dual my little 50 as far as it is now, the real one. And at that time, the state forgot to do an impact study. And they come down and stopped it. Paid us all this money. And there's never been an impact study done on 450, excuse me now, because of the wetlands involved on Route 450.
So the question is, basically there hasn't been a traffic impact study along Defense Highway in Maryland 450, and I guess it was dualized several years ago, and that will be up to the county and the state. Basically the state, it's a state road, they own it Maryland 450, and they could do that study. They might determine it needs to be widened further than it is, and it sounds like there's a wetlands there, and that's why they haven't done it. I don't know. And they probably could look at that. As far as the church goes, we did a traffic impact study, looked at key intersections, and also, of course, Cox Road was one of those key intersections.
Your impact study was a rubber hose?
No, people sat there and counted. We had people. You see us? Yeah.
I saw the fans sitting there and also seen the rubber hose on the house. I live on Cox Road and into your property. So I know when it's done. I ain't seen gentlemen here tonight standing out there with tape measure. So there's nothing goes on Cox Road we don't know.
Thank you. The next question is from David Frickson. Is David Frickson? Thank you.
How was the site selected? You didn't answer that question.
I had that same question. I'd like to speak to the guy that selected this spot. Oh, and then the second question is, you said you're going to dig a well. It seems like the second day, or maybe even before I signed the papers for I would have dug a well. They don't cost that much. You don't even know if there's water there enough for your project. Another thing I would say is, why don't you guys, instead of having all this money spent, hire the people that did the Mac Church?
Yeah.
They had they used to be in the high school.
Middle school.
No problems.
We don't have a high school.
Problems you have, I'll bet they didn't have enough problems. So maybe you could hire or consult with those people.
So there are 2 questions. One was why it was selected. So I'm going to go over to your project manager or pastor.
I'll be honest, it was not a choice that, as consultants, We're hired to make the site work, and that's our job, and to work with the community. The selection of this particular location was something that the church chose to do.
Then pass the mic to them.
Very good question. I must say this, as a church, we were growing in numbers. It was 100, it increased to 200. So
Can't hear you.
Speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we increased, and then there was a need for a place of our own because we rent. So we started looking out for a place to purchase. And so this particular place came up. And it was put on the market. It was put on the market. So we found it appropriate, believing that great people like you are going to be our neighbors. We are full of joy. So that's why we went for a church. So it wasn't like that we wanted to put a church out there. This place was put out on the market, and we went for to purchase it.
And the second part of Mr. Erickson's question was about the water and if there'd be enough. So I'll turn to Mr. Kanji.
Where are you going?
Concerning the water, yes, we're going to provide water well. But what we need to remember, this is the peak service is going to be on Sunday. During the weekday, we are going to stop. We're going to have some tank. We're going to just put a tank, clean a tank that can be even utilized in the future by the community. Now, as far as the rate, this will not be any further, and as an architect will be in a way because the design provides not only FTC, which is a fire department connection, as well, it's got to be sprinkler system. Now, as far as site development, in Maryland, before you can arrange a building, you have to meet the site requirement. In this particular site, even someone is asking how a fire truck can get in. This radius right here is by code, which is a 35 feet radius right there.
Sir, I don't think the question was about the radius. The question was about the 300 cars that's going to be there when the fire truck has to get back to mine.
And all that
good question.
recreational area for future development that will eventually be a parking lot. Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
John
Yes,
sneaks you in.
I'm going to answer your question, please. If you go to any commercial building, you always have some designated land. And you're going to see the sign, fire land. We're going to provide fire land for this site. Absolutely, yeah. This is just, absolutely, that's what we're going to provide, sir. We're going to provide fire land.
Get about the road around the building, talk about Cox's Road, where my house is.
Yes, yes. Now, to come back to capsules, if you see this land, this is a vacant land, open space we are not using now. In this area, there's going to be open space. That means in order to accommodate cockroach widening, we can utilize on our side, we got more than 200 linear feet from the property line to this line right here. And right now we are dedicated. If you see this dash, stick border line, that's the property line. The remaining line is existing Cox Road, meaning we will be able to provide enough access lane, right lane turn, and to mitigate this traffic impact. And we are engineers, and we are designed to provide a design, a sound design and buildable design, like any type of a commercial development.
Yes, sir, I understand.
And we're going to provide that. And by county requirement, we're going to meet all county requirements to be able to erect this site. Thank you.
How do you know if there's any water there? You didn't answer that.
So the next question is Mike Kane. Is Mike here? Okay, good. There's the mic from right where you are. Thank you, Mr. Kane.
I wanted to ask the church, I know you said this was a meeting about the site development, but from a church perspective, I could ask the church executive. Most of the churches in Crofton serve the Crofton community. But how many of, for your church, what part of our community is going to be served by your church? Did you?
How many members?
Excellent
Where are
question.
your parishioners coming from? Right.
I was hoping the church division could address that one, not the site manager.
Our church has members all over Maryland, from all the different counties, Anne Arundel County. I live in Howard County.
That's what we're afraid of. No, how many from Crofton?
For the Crofton area, I don't have specific numbers, but we do have members.
Do you have general numbers?
Grand Gambriel's Bowie area, from the general area.
Where's your next Moses church? Go there.
I have the hard job, and I do apologize. I know some of you don't like. I'm trying to fill in the gap between expert, a church that are not necessarily developers, and I'm trying to fill in the hardest part. Okay, this is the hard part. So if I said something earlier about the fire, it was I misunderstood. So and I apologize for that, because that was. But I think what I really want to make sure you understand is the church had the right to buy the land. They bought the land. This is a by right opportunity. We're not, some of you, we understand completely, do not want a church that is people from outside your neighborhood. There, we get that. And trust me, I do understand that. I get it. But the point is that there's a reason that we're not talking that much about it. And the reason is,
Because
the unfortunate reality is, they bought the land, it's their right to do it.
Let people ask their question.
The next question is from Julia Rhodes. Julia.
She gave up one.
I wanted to ask, if you ever thought of putting a light to Cox Road and
Good question. You know what, that's something that we can look at. There are signal warrants that have to be met in order to put in a signal that the state highway is going to require. It is a state road, it's Maryland 450, and they're actually pretty stringent about meeting at least one of these 8 signal warrants to get in a signal. At this location, we might be able to hit a peak hour warrant, and also there's a system warrant, where if you have signals on both sides, you could put one in the middle. So it's possible that it could meet one of those. Those are the stronger warrants are 8-hour warrants, where for 8 hours a day you meet a certain minimum type of traffic. We're not going to have that here at Cox Road. But the other two, we could have, and we'll look into that and see if that would be an option or not. Yeah, it's the signal warrant analysis. There are 8 signal warrants. And it's part of the MUTCD, it's the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, and it's a national book. But also, if you go to the State Highways website, they have, go to the Maryland State Highway Administration's website, they have important documents, and in there's an MD, stands for Maryland-MUTCD. If you open that document, you can look and see what the requirements are for a signal. So that's what we're going to look for, and I'm going to write that down to see if that's even an option for us.
would you add circle to your suggestion?
Sure. Yes. And a roundabout would have similar type of criteria. So the next question is from Tom Crandall. Tom Crandall?
So
45 years or more plus going on. I've been friends to everybody who lives on the Cox Road. God bless him and his wife and his kids. These people don't need all this stuff, and they're pretty upset tonight, but there's a lot of things we need to talk about. 450 was the road where the revolutionaries came down to raid Washington, D.C. on. That road has not been changed much. In the 1920s and 30s, was done a big study of everything in there, and he made it enough where we could have 2 lines down the middle. In 1961, there was another study. I don't think any of that is now appropriate for what's happening on 450. If we made that 4 lanes, then it might even be in the talking stage to have this. But at this point, we are having a very undesirable impact on our roads right now. It's not anywhere near it. That should have what they call a choker lane to the left for going down Terrytown.
No, please.
I know that, and I'm with you all the way, but I'm just saying, that's one of the things, if we're gonna do anything, that should be done first. You can see what's gonna happen. There's enough traffic, you don't even have to do a study.
Exactly.
There's enough traffic right now.
Yes, yes.
That we don't need any more. I can't even go to Dunkin' Donuts
Yep.
or go down to the other Krispy Kreme place there on the corner on Sunday mornings because of the traffic already.
Thank you.
For kids on the bus stop right there, it's terrible. You know, and we've got little guys growing up here that need to do something. That road hasn't been changed for that. Why do you think it's gonna get changed for the church?
Yeah, thank you.
You know? So 450 is a historical highway. Unless you do 4 lanes or something, I can't see this helping at all. You know, when we were talking about the festival, there's other things that go on down there too. There's also things that happen at the crab house there.
Yep. Yep.
There's already been numerous accidents. If you did a traffic study and didn't see people getting injured, how about people getting killed? Mr. Wright died there in a classic car coming home from a car show. That highway is very windy and difficult and narrow. There's not enough street lights on it as it is. There's so many things that we could do to 450 without even considering this church.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go on to Ellen Cox. Very
You
good.
already answered my question.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Lucille Seaborg. Very good.
Right here.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes. I've lived here for 40 years. When we moved here, there were no traffic signals at Route 3, 450, 424, none. And now, all of us know the impact of traffic is terrific. I go down, I live on Crofton Parkway, and I go down Terrytown at least 8 times a week, maybe 10. And I have extreme difficulty making a left turn at that
Yes.
corner.
Yes.
If I want to go up to my dentist, it's Dr. Taco. But anyway, the point is, I love your church because I love you. I don't have anything against the church or the people. I think the major concern that I have is the traffic. Absolutely. And the secondary concern is the well and the septic system. I was junior warden at St. Stephen's, and we only had one well, and our church is half the size of what you're going to build. And I'm telling you, it did not service it. And they still have a problem because they will only have the one well. So I think that you may run